So that's the one thing that scares me. But I made a commitment to myself that I was going to do everything I could to make every gate in the world safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, another huge big goal. It's crazy to do that. I understand. But that's what keeps me up from a liability standpoint. And I would say probably from a financial standpoint, I would say all of them to a certain extent, as I know where they want to be. One of my service businesses right now, we have another huge, large goal, multi-million-dollar goal.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest is Brooks, the access control expert. We're here in Dallas. He is the guy in Dallas for access control, and soon to be you're going to hear that he's the one in all of the US. So on this episode, I'm going to take you through it. We're going to be talking about being fearless, taking action, and establishing yourself as a market leader that you are, just like Michael has. Michael, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm so excited you got to come down. You don't make it here to us Southern boys too much, so we're excited to see you, and I'm so glad that you got to take a second for guys like me and help me in my marketing.
Yeah, no, I mean what we did just before this, we'll make sure that we link both of them.
All right,
but,
I didn't know if we were going to talk about it or not.
Yeah, no, it's we went pretty deep on marketing, and it's crazy. I wasn't expecting really to kind of share all that information, but that's what I like doing, so I really appreciate that you kind of brought that out of me.
Well, like I said, it was a chance for me to get free consulting, so
yeah.
I actually made $1,000 today, so
there you go. There
just
you
by
go.
getting all those tips from you.
Yeah. So what I liked about you, what impressed me the most, because I've known you, 2-3 years now or something like that, but it recently at our industry trade show at Fence Tech, this was in February or March, you were going around with, was it a gimbal?
No, we had just it set up on a monopod, just a 1080p camera on a monopod.
Yeah.
With a cameraman.
But man, you were gutsy. You were going around with that thing, and you were doing interviews, and you had your book, right?
Yes.
And you were doing these things that no one else in this industry is doing. Manufacturers aren't doing. Distribution isn't doing. And I was like, wow, this guy is like, he's doing it. The stuff that we hear for every market, this guy is doing it. And other people fear change, you embraced it, and I could clearly see that. Why did you decide that you wanted to do that?
Well, we talked about this earlier. A guy that both of us look up to, Grant Cardone, makes it pretty well known that if you're uncomfortable, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
So my thought process was, in my overall goal of making Brooks the access control expert, part of the first thought that somebody has when they think of electronic access control, I need to do stuff that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And what makes me uncomfortable at that particular stage was going to Fence Tech without any plan whatsoever of who I'm going to talk to, what I'm going to talk to them about, and getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
and doing that, and also at the same time we were releasing a book, helping a distributor promote a new product line that they were bringing on. So I had a bunch of things going on at once, and that was the culmination of what was going on. It's just to be uncomfortable as you possibly can, and you're on the right track at that point.
Man, I have, with podcasts, you have to have everything so structured and everything. I didn't even have this, but you sparked this interest in me just now. What were you feeling in the moment? Like, were you nervous going around with the camera and recording and everything? Because you didn't look it.
Well, I was lucky that actually I had somebody work the camera and help me with some production part of it.
Yeah.
Just like today, I brought somebody out of the service into the business and was there to help me out with the mantra of, this is no big deal.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
Everybody else is wanting to do this, but you're doing this.
Yeah.
There wasn't any uncomfortable spot or anything like that for me. It was just go get it done, and don't worry about, again, like Grant Cardone says, you may not know the steps, all right? That's not important. The goal is here, and just get there, because whatever you think the steps are, they're gonna change anyway. So just go get it done.
Yeah, that I don't even know how to explain this, but like, wow, just wow. Like, I can remember still, I was like, dude, this guy, who the hell is it? Like, who does he think he is? Like, but I'm like, man, this guy is doing it. Like, But
you'd be so surprised. You and I both recognize that marketing, in essence, is the business.
Mm-hmm.
We want to say that sales is king. Cash is king. Cash is what counts,
Mm-hmm.
right? None of that happens until the process of marketing happens, okay? And that was all part of it, You'd be surprised at how many people out there, manufacturers, distributors, end users, are uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
with that process.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, they're so uncomfortable that they might even try to obstruct it.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're going too fast, brother. Slow down. You're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not even in my headspace.
Yeah.
All right. The only way that I'm gonna get out there in everybody's mind is to go get it done, feel uncomfortable, and just forget all about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just part of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes down to risk, right? Like, everything that you're gonna do is gonna be a risk one way or another. No action is risk too, Not doing anything is actually more risky than actually doing something, because you know exactly what you're gonna get with not doing anything, and that's the mediocrity. But since you take so much risk and you do so many things, you must obviously have a lot of failures. Like, what's been your biggest failure that you've experienced so far?
So I fail on a daily basis. Not only do I not meet my own expectations, I don't meet the financial expectations, I don't necessarily meet the successful expectations of whatever I'm doing that day. So I fail on a regular basis, but it is all planned failure, okay? In the sense that I have a A/B postcard set that I'm sending out. One's gonna fail in the sense that one's gonna do better than the next one. Unfortunately, it's typically the one that I thought that was gonna do the best, but I don't care. I've planned for that failure,
Yeah.
okay? I'm very lucky in the fact that I operate at a very low, my nut is very small in the sense that I don't have to generate $10,000 a week just to stay in business, okay? I operate on a very low level, so I have very low risk. I don't have 10 trucks out there that all have car payments. I don't have 100 employees that aren't bringing in income. They're all paying for themselves. So there's a lot of planned failure, and yes, I do think that sometimes a successful program is going to work. In my business, electronic access control, we also do automatic gates. I thought the lube and leave program was going to be the greatest program in the world. Mm-hmm. We're going to come to your house, lubricate all the stuff that needs to lubricate, and leave, okay? And what we're finding out is that may not necessarily play very well to middle-aged women, who at that particular time was my target demographic. Because the connotation lube and leave, it may not have had that whole positive connotation. So we do campaigns, we do marketing things all the time that fail, but it's planned failure, and it's nothing that holds me back. I take 10 programs that fail, I know I'm that much closer to the one that's going to succeed.
Yeah. Who was it? Einstein or Thomas Edison, with his concept of failure, that was like, I didn't fail 10,000 times, I just had to figure out like what was the wrong ways to do it in order to find out the 10,000 times of what was going to take the one time to get it right.
And you see a lot of people that are like that. Mr. Honda, the guy who founded Honda, it was just like failure is part of it, They had a saying at Honda, which is send them up the ladder and then kick it out from underneath them. So you get up to that stage, right, of the next level, and then I'm gonna take the ladder away from you because you're not gonna be able to climb back down from it. Now I want your failures to be going up to the next level.
Yeah.
So just prepare for it, plan for it, and embrace it, if you will.
Yeah,
You don't want to
absolutely.
fail if you have any negative things in your life. You don't want to be the guy that, if you eat too much or drink too much or abusing anything, those aren't the failures you want. These are different failures in the business, and those are acceptable. Those are okay to fail.
Only word that people should think about when they're considering a failure as they're trying to grow and expand, and that's embrace. Like use it. Don't run from it. You're trying something and it didn't work, and you're trying to grow because of it. It's not a bad thing.
Maybe people can't, if they don't relate to it like this, anybody that's in the sales end of it, you realize a certain amount of people are going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Maybe people can't, if they don't relate to it like this, anybody that's in the sales end of it, you realize a certain amount of people are going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so every no gets you to that one yes.
Yeah.
That's what you have to look at it. You have to look at every campaign, every idea that you have gets you just that much closer to the one that does work.
Yeah.
And just because it fails for you doesn't mean it's going to fail for anybody else. So that's why also sharing your failures helps as well too.
Yeah. There was this thing that I was going through the Cardone program, the Cardone U, and it was about cold calling. And he said this statistic that was really, really interesting, because everybody always thinks there's so many people that I'm going to call and they're going to tell me no right away, right? Grant's like, man, you should really think about the people that are going to say yes. Out of 100 calls, 81% of people are going to tell you, I don't want it, I get off the phone, they're going to be rude to you. He's like, but 19% of them are waiting for you to call. And it's like, man, if you focused on those 19, those are easy calls. Those are people that, oh man, I've been waiting for you to call, So sometimes it's like, just don't focus on the negative side of everything that you're doing. Just like, man, there's positive, and it doesn't matter how small it is. Like, there are people waiting for you to get their attention, for you to call, for you to close, for you to give them what you want to give them.
Feed off those no's.
Yeah,
Just know that it's getting you that much closer to that one yes.
absolutely, yeah.
Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross, in his speech was just like, they're out there waiting with their money.
Yeah,
Are you man enough to take it?
yeah,
And that's exactly what it is. I was just talking to my guy who's helping me on the service end of the business. You met him today. And yesterday, as we were driving down the street, going back to the office, we were talking about the future of the company. And, I said, I only want to do this if this is fun, but you have to recognize there's people out there right now that have our money.
mm-hmm.
All right, they have our money.
Mhm.
Let's find out who it is and go get it from them. And there's a guy driving down a Range Rover, and I've been looking at a Range Rover Sport. Very expensive car to maintain, man, but not expensive to buy. Because they're so expensive to maintain, their value goes down pretty low. And as that Range Rover's driving by, I said, "There's the guy that's got our money. Let's go get him."
There you go.
Okay, you just gotta use those no's, feed off of them, and know that 10 no's is gonna equal one yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
But I mean, we don't have to be so negative and discourage everybody. It doesn't mean that failure and then you taking risks, that's gonna happen every single time, that's not what we're saying at all. So I mean, with you, what has worked? What are you working on right now that is successful for you?
Well, we're working on several different projects that have been successful, and there's different types of success, Ultimately, what it comes down to is success is what you've labeled as the goal and then attain it, okay? So nobody goes into projects saying, I'm gonna lose money, okay? But, when we're talking about a marketing campaign for a particular project, I'll give a marketing genius such as yourself $5,000 and say, I just want $5,000 in sales, or maybe $4,500 in sales. But I'll take those 5 new customers that are valuable to $2,000 each,
Mhm.
and now I know that over their life cycle, they're gonna spend $2,000 each and make $10,000 off of them. So, So we're successful in a couple of different avenues, and it depends on what you call success. So we have projects right now that financially are break even, but
Yeah.
we're calling it part of our success because it's part of the overall plan.
Yeah.
The overall plan is to get everybody in the world, when they think of electronic access control, they think of Brooks, the access control expert. Crazy goal. There's people out there that are thinking about trying to get food in their stomach.
Mhm.
They're not gonna think about electronic access control. So it's a crazy goal, all right? But
hey,
you
if
know.
not you, who?
Exactly. That's a very good point. So now I feel better about
Yeah.
myself. But that's, so that's what we're talking about success. Our service business is very successful. It's very high margin.
Mm-hmm.
It's very low risk. And we have a great service business that we're starting. You're going to be helping us with a new product that we're about to launch. We're very excited about that. We have no doubt that it's going to be successful. Won't be as successful without your help. So we're very glad that we got you involved with it on our digital footprint end. We run a decent little YouTube channel, Access Control Forum. That's been okay at this point.
Yeah.
Successful is when we can monetize that to the level that we need. But again, low barrier to entry,
Yeah.
very, very low risk,
Yeah.
and it sits there all day, 24 hours a day. So we have projects like that we're doing with information products and doing the digital end of it, but we have a physical component of it as well too. We have a couple different service things that we're running here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and those have all been pretty decent. We're fortunate in the fact that this geographic location is one of the best in the United States right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people leaving California, coming to Texas.
Yeah.
Is there one in this room maybe? So we have a lot of people leaving California, coming to Texas. We have a great state, and we have a great economy here. We have two large cities that have approximately 25,000 people moving here every couple of years. So there's a lot of things that we're successful in the service end of it. But those are in general the things that are successful for us right now. But the service business has really been good.
Yeah. Which one are you the most excited about?
Well, up until a couple of months ago, I had a couple of different thoughts on that. Bringing it current to the last 2 weeks that you and I have been talking, the service program that I'm coming out with for automatic gates for affluent customers,
Yeah.
that's what I'm really excited about. But I'm excited about it not just for the program, and I know that a lot of people want it, but about the relationship that you and I have.
Mhm.
Because I've talked to so many marketers, and you and I had this conversation
Yeah.
about one in this industry.
Mhm.
Talked to so many guys about marketing, and they don't understand anything but big, dumb, stupid marketing.
You gotta post blogs and it's like, well, yeah, but what's the point of everything? It's you gotta eventually sell and monetize, you know what I mean? Marketing is not a scheme, and that's why so many people are so reluctant to it nowadays, because you get told this is the way it is, not knowing, and then you see it like a year later and you're just like, I haven't made anything on that.
Well, the theory is just put it out there and people will come.
Yeah.
And that it's just not like that, there's a lot of plans and a lot of steps and a lot of
Well, the theory is just put it out there and people will come.
Yeah.
And that it's just not like that, there's a lot of plans and a lot of steps and a lot of different types of media. It's not just advertising on Facebook,
Mhm.
okay? Having an offline and an online component are just as important as having, Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So that's what really I've been excited about lately is that service program.
Yeah.
Because it will help our reoccurring monthly revenue, which is very important for when you're reselling the business,
Mhm.
okay? And that's what hopefully is all of us entrepreneurs are trying to do,
Oh,
is
man.
to get out of the business or to operate the business as a shareholder, okay?
But yeah, no, it's and maybe for someone who's thinking about starting a business right now that's listening to this, having sales is good, but if you have like one-time sales, there's nothing wrong with that, but then you have to, the next month, you're like, man, what am I gonna get? But recurring, once you know what recurring revenue is, you're like, man, I want everything to be recurring revenue, because it's like, you're safe, you're set, you know? Instead of having to guess, so it's just, I don't know, it makes me giddy still, I'm like, man, you know, the recurring is the,
What allows predictability,
yeah,
okay? You know what's gonna happen next month. You could go right down here to the corner and go into one of these car dealerships,
Mhm.
all right? And I guarantee you, talk to the majority of the salespeople, they have no idea what their sales are gonna be next month.
yeah,
They have no idea who's gonna walk through the door, and they're not doing anything active about it. And when you can get that reoccurring monthly revenue program, a lot of those unknowns are now taken away.
yeah,
So it's a pretty exciting program, but you know, we don't see it in that particular segment of the industry. So I'm pretty excited about that. But the flip side to that is, going back to what I mentioned earlier, is if anybody's ever read Michael Gerber's book, I'll think of the title here in a
Yeah,
second.
no.
He has a bunch of different entrepreneur books, Entrepreneur Within, going from beyond the E-Myth, but he wrote a book called The E-Myth, and its reincarnation is now the E-Myth Revisited. And his theory was that, you know, what we're trying to do as business owners is create a business
Yeah.
that works for itself, and you stand back and work as and live as a shareholder, and then sell it, and then start the next one, and so on. So that's something that you know, when you create a recurring monthly revenue, it allows you to take that business and sell it for multiples of what the business is worth.
Yeah.
And you see that in the alarm industry, and hopefully you're gonna see it in our industry as well too, because I'm gonna start it and finish it and replicate it and go on from there. And then you have a system for sale as well too, so then you bring in franchising and all those other things that go along with it. But recurring monthly revenue is very important to any service business,
Yeah.
and other businesses as well too.
Oh man, so I hope anybody who's listening, they kind of understood that both me and you were like really into recurring monthly revenue. That's something you guys should really look into when you're starting the business. Like, how can, instead of just thinking, how can I sell this product to a bunch of people, how can I sell this product to a bunch of people over and over and over again, and do it consistently? So not just a one-time product, but a 5-year, 10-year, 30-year product that you can continue to sell over and over. So you know, we talked about what we're excited about, the project that you're excited about. Which is the project that keeps you up at night though?
Well, there's probably two answers to that. One of them is from a liability standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've recognized that in the electronic access control business, the automatic door business, the automatic gate business, that safety is a large component of it, okay? And we have standards and organizations, we have plenty of organizations that'll tell you that I'm doing it wrong. And that's great, I always wanna learn, but I stood back after watching a video. The video was a young lady watching from above. You know those, basically it looks like a barrel, they take go-karts and run it around there, you stick your hand out and they grab the dollar, and then they do motorcycles and stuff like that, but you're looking down on them from the top, about 25 feet down, and then there's motorcycles running around the walls. I don't know what they call that, but a circus act like that. There was a young girl that was up there watching one of those, and she fell out a gate onto it and got her foot caught at the top. And fortunately, I don't believe that she lost her life, but she got hit by one of the motorcycles or cars or something along those lines. Very tragic, and I'm saying that to shock people because that's what keeps me up at night, is those types of instances and whether they can be prevented or not. And part of why it needs to be a focus with everybody is that there's standards out there, but they don't have a program in place to, one, tell their customers about these problems, and two, make money off of it. So what I did is create an organization, gatesafetyforkids.org, and what we're gonna do is we don't care what the standard is, because they're gonna vary from geographic region to geographic region, and then they're also gonna be interpreted differently by different companies. So we're not concerned about what the standards are for safety.
Yeah.
What we're concerned about is you creating a safety program that you can implement in your company based off how you interpret the safety standards and what safety standards that you go by, okay? And then turn that into a little money machine, all right? It's a great lead generation tool, all right, for somebody to be able to go, I can do a safety inspection. Like, we have 11-point safety inspection for free, 99 times out of the month. Well, I take that back. We have a safety inspection that we run regularly throughout the year, okay? And if you catch it, we'll do it for free. We'll come out and inspect everything and tell you what's wrong. And when you start doing stuff like that, liability goes, right through the roof, and you gotta be really concerned about that.
Yeah.
And then, when you're telling other people how to create safety programs,
Oh, man.
liability starts to become even more. So that's the one thing that scares me, but I made a commitment to myself that I was gonna do everything I could to make every gate in the world safe.
Yeah.
Okay, again, another huge, big goal. It's crazy to do that, I understand. But that's what keeps me up from a liability standpoint. And I would say probably from a financial standpoint, I would say all of them to a certain extent, as I know where they want to be. One of my service businesses right now, we have another huge, large goal, multi-million-dollar goal.
Yeah.
And that's probably what keeps me up financially. But the liability one is probably where I wake up and say, oh, did I do that right, or did I do this right? But from a financial standpoint, it's just being successful.
And this woman, that's more of a relative term, but just to be correct with everyone,
Right.
But there's so much stress that's involved with running a business, with doing projects. I mean, it might not even have to do with running a business. It might just be that you want to do a bunch of stuff, but there's all this stress involved. But I've learned over the last few years, it's critical that you find a way to release that stress from your mind, because it begins to just build up and it kind of bottles up inside you, and it just does horrible things to your body, your mind, to everything. What do you do to deal with your anxieties?
Well, it's very simple. For me, it has, there's a great book, it's called Getting Things Done.
Mm-hmm.
And inside that book, the gentleman who wrote it, and I think he wrote a series of books, he talks about getting your life organized, okay? And I interpreted the stuff that he was talking about physically, although he does mention some mental and spiritual stuff in there as well too. I interpreted that stuff that he was talking about physically getting organized into mentally getting organized, okay? I get the best sleep at night when I've gone through a checklist, okay? And become organized in whatever project that I'm working on, all right? That way I don't wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, did I weld that bracket on there? Did I send somebody to the right job? Did I give the schedule that needed to be given to the right subcontractor? So that's how I relieve my anxiety, just from a general standpoint, is creating a system in place to where I can be a robot. I can literally just go down the checklist, check 1, check 2, is my house alarm turned on? Is my vehicle alarm turned on? Did I do my deposits for the day? Did I pay my insurance? See, I don't have to think about any of those because it's on a checklist.
Yeah.
So my anxiety is calmed by being organized to that standpoint.
Yeah, that's something that the mentor that I have right now, he told me, before you go to bed, write down the important things that must be done tomorrow, or that you forgot to do, that you don't need to do right now. If you need to do them right now, go and do them, But more or less, he's like, your mind is thinking of all the things, but it's not organized. So if you write down a checklist, at least at the end of the night, of all the stuff you need to do, your brain has the ability to say, it's there, I don't have to hold on to it anymore. So a little bit different, but...
The only thing that I think that's almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I would add to that is levels, okay? Because getting Race and Brand at the store is a different level than create a marketing campaign to sell this new product. So there's different levels, and in that particular book, you have to have a capture system for each one of those levels.
Yeah.
So if it's a 10-step thing, you have a whole thing over here that you touch once a week or when you get freed up that has those 10-step things listed on there. But if it's the Get Raisin Brand at the store tomorrow, that has a different capture system. The second that you put it in any capture system that you have, even if you record it on your phone, because I do that stuff as well too.
Yeah.
When I'm in the truck and I have a marketing idea, I record it in the phone and pull it off. The second that you create that capture system and put it in place, it's now out of your head and you don't have to think about it. You can think about, where am I gonna take my girlfriend to dinner? What car are we gonna get next week? Where are we moving? But you don't have to think about, oh crap, did I pay my insurance bill? Am I worried about the audit that's gonna happen next week? And so on. So that's the only thing that I would amend with what you said, which just different, there's different levels, and you need to create capture systems for each level.
Yeah, clear up that headspace at the end of the day. I mean, like,
Yes, sir.
help yourself relax, you
Yes,
know?
sir.
But guess what? You know how I told you time goes by quick? We're actually past the 30-minute mark, but I really wanted to ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Do people tell you, because I know you're doing a lot of stuff, and I was gonna tell you, like, man, are you happy with what you've done? And I know that if you were happy, completely happy, you would stop, but I mean, there's always more to do, right? But do people in your life tell you you need to slow down, take it easy, you've done enough?
So from a business standpoint, anybody that does that is now out of my life.
Okay.
Okay, so I won't tolerate it. From a personal standpoint, my girlfriend, she'll be the one that says, you know, maybe you don't have to work, 14 days straight. Maybe you don't have to go to Louisiana and do that training class, or you don't have to go to Salt Lake to go to that next organization meeting. So anybody that is in my personal sphere that hates, they're no longer in the personal sphere. If anybody's in the outside of that hates on me, I try to keep those people around because I need you to feed me and tell me. And now when I say on the outside, I mean on Facebook, like Facebook friends or something like that. But those people don't, there's very few of those people around if you include everybody in your goal, right?
Absolutely.
If you bring people in. So that's probably the only, really the just in general what happens. Anybody that's in my personal life, friends or family, if they hate, I just won't take advice from you about the business or about something that's critical in my life. I'll still love on you, still be your friend. But then when you bring it home, really the only personal thing is my girlfriend, when she'll say, hey, dude, maybe you don't need to work on our anniversary.
Yeah, and sometimes it is justified, you know what I mean? Like, I take it too far sometimes too, so I absolutely understand. Any last thoughts, anything that you want to say before we finish this off?
The one thing that I would probably want to say, because we are talking about marketing.
Yes.
Any entrepreneurs out there that are out there, marketing is the business.
Absolutely.
It's sales and all that stuff have to happen, the fulfillment has to happen, you have to build the widgets, you gotta make the donuts, all right? But none of that stuff happens until the process of attracting people to you is done. And that process is called marketing. So that's the only thing that I would say is if you're scared of it or you don't like it, pay somebody like an expert like you to read all the books, do all the programs and all that stuff, pay a value person, you figure it out, and I'll go do the widgets and all that stuff. But nothing happens until marketing actually happens. So you better make that a big part of your business and a big part of your mindset. So that's the only thing that I have to add.
Yeah, cool. Well, guys, Brooks, the access control expert, you're gonna make it. You're gonna be the guy. Trust me.
No choice.
You push hard enough, you're gonna get whatever you want. So it's been a great episode. I really like it. Hope you guys join us for the next one. I myself don't know who it's going to be, but I know it's not going to be in Dallas. So.
Well, I'm glad you got to come down. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being on the podcast with me.